So today I'm going to do another one of my advanced Greek videos. This one is going to be about the rhythm of Greek poetry, and specifically about the rhythm of Greek poetry in Greek drama and in the spoken aspect of Greek drama, and in a meter that we call, a meter being a rhythm that we call Iambic Trimeters. This is the meter that lots and lots and lots of the spoken dialogue and sometimes monologues between actors happens on the Athenian stage in the 5th century and later. So a couple of things to consider before we do this. Firstly, I am assuming that you have the ability to read Greek, that is to say you read the Greek alphabet if you're watching this. I am not assuming that you can necessarily translate it, and that's because actually you have to be at a pretty high level to be able to translate Greek tragedy off the cuff. I would say undergraduate level usually, and perhaps towards the end of A levels you might have a stab at it. But broadly speaking, most people are still a little nervous about doing this kind of thing, and that's totally fine. So the problem with scansion, which is to say the scanning of a line, the working out of the meter of a line, is precisely that. It's taken as something that we've got to work out. It's like it's a sort of long and complicated and difficult process that we've got to work out slowly, almost like doing maths. We have to basically reconcile ourselves to the fact that this was poetry. They didn't work it out. They weren't sat there in the Dionysia Theatre going, yes, well, that's an interesting line divide there. It's an interesting Caesura. So they haven't got their sort of tablets out doing their scansion there. It's not something that they worked out. It's something they heard, and this is really, really important. Hearing the rhythm. Now, with Iambic Trimeters, which is the meter that we're going to be looking at, it is unlike lots of other Greek verse in that it's probably not sung most of the time. But we can still think about it as a very, very rhythmical system. And that is my main message from the start. We're looking at something natural, something rhythmical, and something that you can actually learn to do and learn to spot really, really easily. That is the idea here. The idea is not starting at the end of the line and sort of very, very trying to work it all out very, very slowly. Bollocks. Okay, that's not what it's about. So I want to start off with the theory, as it were. And this theory is not completely academically sound. The academics out there, you will listen to this and you'll probably go, it's not quite right. It's sort of an approximation of it for pedagogical purposes, for the purposes of teaching, because I like to get the balance there between what is factually right and what probably will be actually useful to people who are watching this. So the first thing to bear in mind is what happens in the length of a syllable. What I mean to say is I literally mean how long it takes to pronounce a syllable. That's all that I mean. So if we just take a simple word, a non-English word and then an English word. The English word we're going to take is cat. Cat. Meow. Cat. And we're just going to chop off the T. Cat. Cat. And you just ask yourself very straightforwardly, without trying to be too clever about it, which one takes longer to say, cat or cat? Cat or cat? And the answer, without being too clever about it, without manipulating the cat too much, is cat, takes longer to say. The T kind of seals off the syllable. And I really want you to think about that. We talk about the coda of a syllable in linguistics. I want you to think about it as it seals off the end of the syllable. So that's the first thing to think about, that a consonant can seal off the end of the syllable. We could also have like a long A, and we could say a sort of ka or a kai, for example, instead of a ka. And that would also kind of seal off the syllable, almost like a semi-vowel, a sort of half vowel, sealing off the syllable, okay? So that's really crucial. We've got syllables that are short, ka, and we've got syllables that have kind of been sealed off, either by a consonant or by some kind of semi-vowel. Okay. Now let's think about how that applies to Greek. In Greek, we've got a series of naturally short vowels: e, a, I, o, a. Okay, naturally short vowels. Okay. We've also got a series of naturally long vowels. The two that you will know are air, eta, and or, omega. You will know those for certain. Those are definitely long vowels. And actually, if you listen to them, again, this is not a scholarly perspective, but it helps you. If you listen to them, air, and then o, okay, there's almost like you can hear a semi-vowel at the end there. It's almost like it's been sealed off. Okay, so I want you to think about it like that way, like that, even if that is not perhaps entirely accurate from an Indo-European perspective, but never mind. So those are the ones that you know. You may not know, particularly if you've done a kind of GCSE or an A-level course, you may not know that actually the A's, the as, can also be long in certain words. So, for example, in the word for disaster, confusion, aporia, okay, the R is long, but the first A is short, okay? So you've got some vowels that are short and some vowels that are long, and they don't change, okay? Some vowels are short and some vowels are long. You can often tell this from historical contractions. So, for example, the accusative plural, because it used to be ans in the feminine, is ars, because the N has contracted into that long A. So sometimes as are long, sometimes they're short. If it's short, it's pronounced at, and if it's long, it's pronounced are, most probably in the 5th century. I can be short, or E can be long. The y almost in there as well, that semi-vowel. You already know about e and you know about o, and u can be short and u can be long. Okay, so to bear that in mind. So we've got longs and shorts that are roughly defined by how long they take to pronounce. And of course, if you pop in a diphthong, Greek diphthongos, which means a kind of double sound, double vowel, ptongos from the verb tengo to make a sound, a double vowel there, then that's going to make it longer to say, and so it's going to be longer. So think about it in things that are short to say and long to say, and you'll be absolutely fine. If you're confused about the length of a vowel, check it out in the LSJ, which you should know about, or any other good dictionary of Greek that prints vowel lengths. Okay, so we've got this idea that some vowels are short and some vowels are long. We've got this idea of why they're short and why they're long, because they kind of get capped off, okay, or they're left open so they don't take as long to say. So ka and car. Ka, short, car, long, because the car is kind of capped off. It takes longer to say. Okay, we've got that idea. And now, in English, I want you to pay attention to this idea, that when I say the phrase better, or the word better, pronounce it really, really slowly. I say better. Even though there's a double T there, we shove them all across onto the next syllable. The idea in English is kind of shove, 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 shove. And sometimes the idea in English is hold on to it. Hold on to the consonant. Let's be really clear about what happens if you hold on to the consonant. Better. It takes longer to pronounce the first syllable. Better. Okay, they're now the same length. It's not anymore better, it's better. Okay? And the thing to bear in mind about Greek is that whenever you've got a consonant, it joins on to the next syllable. Let me give an example of this. So I'm looking now, which is a text that I will be using for explanatory purposes. The Antigone, Sophocles Antigone, I'm using the Cambridge Greek and Latin classics, the green, what's usually called the green and yellows, which are kind of students' commentaries. Great commentaries, but they have the tendency, just as a side note, perhaps not to deal in some of the more controversial aspects of Greek literary criticism, so you won't find controversy here, but if that's not what you're looking for, that's great. And I'm reading this, Sophocles Antigone, line 1. Oh, koinonao. And I want you to really pay attention to that. Oh, koinonao. It's not coin on ow. It's not coin on ow. It is instead koi no now. Notice that the consonants go on to the next syllable, unless they can't possibly do that. So, or koi no now ta del. They can't possibly do that in del pon. They can't possibly do that. And that's because you've got a double consonant there, and there's no way that those two combination of consonants, l and p, can be pronounced together. They can't be pronounced naturally together. There's simply no way of doing it. Okay, and so the l goes one side and the p goes the other side. In that process, the del becomes long because it's capped off, and the p joins onto the next phrase, and the nu, of course, po nis goes on to the next one. Okay, and is, of course, long there. Okay, because the s and the m, they can't possibly go together, and so the s goes one way and the m goes the other. The way to think about it is, if you can't pronounce the two consonants together, it's like they have quite an acrimonious divorce. One goes one way and the other goes the other way. But think about the natural rules for when you could and couldn't pronounce them together. That's quite important. There is an exhaustive list. There is an exhaustive list in Sidgwick's An Introduction to Greek Verse Composition of the list of consonants, here we go, of what he calls doubtful position. You'll find this on page 13 of his Sidgwick Greek composition. And he says that when you've got p and l that go together, they can obviously be pronounced together. They could marry, they could be quite happy together, pl. Or they could separate, they could have an acrimonious divorce, and it could go ep, lo, for example. Okay, so they could separate or they could go together. So you have to be aware of that. If you look at this list, it's pretty self-explanatory. Pl, pl, cl, cl, tl, cl. The only ones that are not self-explanatory, I would have said, are the ones where you've got some mutes and liquids together that otherwise perhaps seem a bit odd, like km, for example, and tm, and pna, and pna. Okay, so if you've got a m and a n before a p or a k or a t or a d or something like that, then they can be pronounced together, and that's the only thing to be a bit wary of. Okay, basically the only thing to be wary of. And broadly speaking there, you've got the basis for your rhythm. So, if we read it nice and slowly, and really get in the practice of reading it slowly and get the rhythm going. I'm going to include the accents where I can. Oh, koi. So we've got two longs there, because you see the o is capped off and the koi is capped off. Oh, koi, no now, not capped off, now capped off. Oh, koi no now. Okay. Oh, koi no now. Okay, that's all lower. It's down low. None of that's there's no raise in pitch there. And then we're going to go up in pitch for the next one. Ta, del, ponis. Okay, going to go up in pitch for that ta. Okay, ta, del, ponis, menes, kara. Okay. O koinonau ta del ponis menes kara. Let's get that rhythm going then. So it's bam, bam, be bam. That's the basic rhythm that you're looking out for here. Bam, bam, be bam. And remember that. O koinonau. O koinonau. Now, of course, that can change a little bit. And that sometimes what you'll see is instead of bam, bam, be bam, you'll sometimes see be bam, be bam. Instead of bam, bam, be bam, you'll sometimes see be bam, be bam. Okay? This is actually the natural the natural and original sense of it, because the word I am is from iambos, okay, and it means going. It actually means sort of jocular speech, but it means be bum. That's the basic rhythm, okay. But you can see that sometimes you'll either see the line or the foot going bum bum be bum or be bum be bum. So if I may show you line 3, you'll see. Hopoionu. Hopoionu. Ba-bam be bam. And then with the accents, hopoionu. Hopoionu. Ba-bam be bam. Instead of bam bam be bam. So watch out for that, and you will see those kind of differences, I suppose. What's going on with the screen? So you will see those differences. Okay, now moving swiftly on, because I am sort of going to run out of time soon. O koinonau ta del ponis menes. Okay, right, I want to pay attention here to a particular feature of the meter here, the rhythm of the meter here, which is what we call the caesura, which you do have to mark. Okay, and the caesura is a dividing line in the line. It's probably not pronounced. It's what most people think. It's probably not pronounced. So I want you to listen out for it though. O koinonau ta del ponis. Because it's not pronounced, it's not something that you can actively hear. It's not something you can go, ah, yes, there's the caesura, in a sense. I kind of hear it pause. Not like Old English poetry, where there is a pause and it is pronounced, for example. Most probably pronounced, and it's often marked by a comma. It's a dividing line where you're in the middle of a foot, and the foot is the word that we're giving for this bam, bam, be bam, or be bam, be bam. And you've got in the middle of the foot somewhere, and what you've got is you've got a separation of words. It's almost like a canyon. And you've got two words either side in the middle of the foot. Okay, and that's called the caesura, and we see it here. Auta del ponis. Okay, you can actually hear it if you go very, very slowly. You'll notice that there's also a caesura at koinonau. Okay, there's a caesura there too, but the caesura we're interested in is always in the middle of the line. Okay, the one closest to the middle of the line. O koinonau ta del ponis menes kara. Kara is long, by the way. The R is long. We can tell that firstly from the positions in the line, but also because in other dialects you'll see karer being the form, and so we know that it's a long vowel because it can transpose pretty well onto eta. O koinonau ta del ponis menes kara. You can hear it there in the ponis menes kara. So that's the caesura, and that's the rhythm of the line. So the basic rhythm of the line that you're listening out for, and I'm going to put my thumbs up for the rough caesura. Bum, bum, be bum. Be bum, be bum. Bum, bum, be bum. Okay, there's a rough rhythm of the line. You will, of course, see other changes, but basically the first mora, the first thing that can change is it can either be bum or be. Bum, bum, be bum, or be bum, be bum. I think that's pretty much it. And there are different types of caesura. You've got sort of masculine and feminine caesurae, but I don't think I have time necessarily to go into those, and most people don't need to scan those. So we tend to scan the line one long over the top, almost like a hyphen on top, and then a little short dip for a short sound. And I suppose to summarise everything I'm trying to say is go from the front of the line. Think of it like a rhythm that was heard, but not a rhythm that was technically calculated. It's a very, very different thing. And once you've got the rhythm going, and you're being very deliberate about the rhythm, bring in the accents and feel the rise and the fall of the verse. Beautiful. The second thing as well, or third thing that I need to talk about, suddenly just remembered, is for some later Greek tragedies, such as those by Euripides, like sort of on the later ones, like the Bacchae, they can be dated, and actually one of the main sources of their dating is the number of what we call resolutions in their verse. And what we mean by resolutions is we mean that instead of going bum, bum, be bum, the poet might take some liberties, and he might take a bum and split it up into two bibis. So he might instead go be, 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 be. Instead of bum, bum, be bum, he might go be bum, for example. Okay, and resolutions happen all the time. So do be aware, particularly if you're reading something by Euripides, do be aware that the later the play, the more likely there are resolutions. However, the number of resolutions are usually dwarfed by the number of lines that are not resolved, that are quite normal in structure. Particularly also if you're reading Aristophanes, because he's a lot later as well, you will find that he uses those resolutions too. So that's the last thing to be aware of. I'm aware that I'm sort of talking to an empty computer here, so if you found anything confusing, if you want clarification, if you don't understand something, or if you're interested in something else, comment below or tweet me, and I'll put the Twitter details below. Okay, fantastic, great. Get in touch if you don't understand something, and if you want to see, in the unlikely event that you want to see more videos like this, then like and subscribe. Okay, fantastic. Thanks very much.